Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, Evan Teague, and like always is Noah Bailey. So, it's become a pretty good tradition around here that at the first of every year, we go over what we believe to be our top 10 most anticipated things of the year. And these can be movies, games, shows, just life events, just, whatever we're excited about. And yeah, I think these are always fun. I have obviously 10 things I'm very excited about, but then 15 honorable mentions.
I
So,
was thinking, there's a lot of, it's quite a bit of mentions on here because you're making it and you're like, yeah, I'm excited about that. And then you realize 10 things later, you're like, oh, I haven't said the thing I was excited about or that thing or that thing. It's like,
yeah,
and then you're like, well, I can justify.
not more than that one. Not, I don't know.
Mm, maybe not. And you're like, it's hard because like the things that you're like, oh, has to be, but then there's other things where like, well, am I
my,
excited about
my
that?
top
It's
three
like,
were super easy.
oh
Top
well,
three
yeah.
were just like
No, top
locked
three
instantly
was the order was tricky for a while, but yeah,
for
top
two of
three for
them.
sure
But I
were
have a feeling my same top three will get there. But
well, probably
anyway,
not, but
um,
pretty close.
but yeah, I'm just gonna go and get us started. My number 10 is the only like more or less more like abstract thing. My number
Okay.
10 is us finally getting casting announcements for Marvel's Phase 5 and 6.
Okay.
For one, it's just, exciting to know who's going to be playing, the Fantastic Four, any mutants, whatever they announce, any other random character, Doctor Doom, etc.
Yeah.
But also just to have people shut up about it.
I mean, they're never gonna stop. I mean, it's just gonna be the next characters they're gonna like gossip about. So
I know, but the Fantastic Four specifically seem to be this hot button thing of like, oh, we need to make sure these people are right, and all these people are like, no, this
okay.
character can't look like this. This person's correct. You're not like just.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's delicate with the Fantastic Four because they have been done wrong many times, and it's
Hmm.
really like it's delicate because although they are arguably one of the most famous comic book teams in existence, they are also in live action have not been given much justice, if any. So it's like
Yep,
you
their
know,
their best movie is the 2005 Fantastic Four movie, and that movie is not very good. So,
but it's like yes, I trust the MCU can handle that easily, but it's also like how are they going to go about it kind
right,
of thing. It's like,
and I believe last we left off the WandaVision showrunner was set to direct it, and I trust him. That show is very, very good. So, whatever he believes is right, I'll go with it. But like, just there's just going to be a lot happening with the Kang Dynasty, Secret Wars, whatever that entails. Like I said, Doctor Doom is going to be kicking around a lot these next phases. Just there's a lot that's potentially going to happen very soon in the MCU, and I'm just excited to finally see it. I
yeah,
think at least at either D23 or Comic Con or some other event, we're going to at least get a glimpse of that this year, and that's exciting.
okay. All right,
Yo.
so my number 10 is the Mario movie.
Oh,
I
number 10,
this
really? Okay.
okay, see, okay, it's one of those it's like it looks really good.
Hmm.
It's like okay, like it's one of those movies where you're looking and you're like I'm going to enjoy this. Like it looks I am however worried about the main character because as much as I love Chris Pratt, everything I've seen, he has easily been the worst part of it. And I know that
Uh-huh.
sounds bad because it's like I love Chris Pratt, but it's also like Bowser has been awesome. I really like what we saw with like Princess Peach. I like how it's like references to every type of game that Mario's been
Mm,
like this looks like a ton of fun, but it's also like I feel like if we're really focused on this one part, it's gonna be distractingly just not interesting. That being said, of course I'm gonna go see it. My friends are already like, oh, we're gonna go like we
yeah.
like this is gonna be our like this is gonna be our so stupid it's awesome movie kind of already, because
Uh-huh.
it's what March, right? So
Either March or April, yeah.
yeah, one or the other. So like that's I'm excited for that. It's gonna be fun, but it's also one of those things that's like I'm not putting my whole life on. Like one, there's a lot of other things going on, and also it's like I'm not like I'm excited, but it's gonna be one of those things that like once it's over, I'm like, oh, that was cool. Like I don't think
Right.
it's gonna be like I want three more Mario movies today. Like you know what I mean? Like
Uh, w- so one thing that I really appreciate about what I've seen so far in most of video game adaptations, I feel like just the fact that in the most recent trailer that we got at the Game Awards, when Mario and Toad sounds great.
yes,
Well, they're just going through that town or that like little like section of the Mushroom Kingdom, like just the Mario music was just playing. Like it wasn't like from a speaker. It wasn't like there wasn't like some reference to it. Like it was just playing,
it's just the world theme. Yeah.
and that's cool. Most like I think Sonic did something like this. Those movies aren't bad, but like they do a little bit of that where it's like we're gonna reference this thing from the game without actually like really committing to it.
Mm,
I know other video game adaptations like make like thing where it's like, hey, there's like here's like some like weird like little rendition
hmm
just to remind you that this is a game thing, but like
I feel like Detective Pikachu did that a lot.
yes, although I was a sucker for the news team theme
Hmm
being the original theme song. That was cool, but yeah, like that is what that is. But just because this is this other world that Mario's in, like why not just have music just
Right?
going on? Yeah, I really like that. Um, and also it just looks visually a lot better than other Illumination stuff. So I'm yeah,
That's good. It does look really like I will say it looks really good for a Mario movie. I'm like, wow. Like the lighting, the structures, like how it like works off of his face. I'm just like, dang, like
yeah.
that looks expensive, like, in a
the
good
pro-
way.
the proportions aren't exactly how I thought they would be, but like they're not they're not bad for sure. They're not as bad as it could be. Like when it was like Illumination is making a Mario thing. It's like oh the Toads are going to be minions. Bowser's going to be voiced by Steve Carell or whatever. It's like just just be
Mhm.
Despicable Me again. It's like no, that's not happening.
That easily could have done that
Yeah,
though.
they didn't.
Props for them for not.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna see it. It's probably gonna be at least decent, but then yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be very, especially since Nintendo did have such a big hand in making the movie. It's gonna be very interesting seeing like interesting to see it. Yeah. Um, my number 9 is season 2 of Star Wars Visions.
Ooh.
So I really liked most of season 1. There were a
Mhm.
couple of episodes here and there that like were either kind of boring or just felt weird. Um, but like the ones that were very good, wow, they were like some of the best Star Wars things ever made.
They were pretty good.
Like the duel right out of the gate, the
Dude,
one with
yeah.
those yeah, the one with those two siblings who
The
like
twins or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, that was a
um,
good one too.
the what was it the Ninth Jedi, like just
Hmm
individual
Something like
episodes were really good and others were
right.
kind of meh. But like
Yeah, there were some that were kind of
that one with
I'm
that
like
bunny girl was odd. I didn't real
this.
I
It
don't
didn't. It didn't feel like Star Wars. It just felt like some random anime thing that happened to be Star Wars. You know.
yeah, it was like yeah, because it really was just random anime, and then all of a sudden, oh, she got a lightsaber now. It's like
Right.
okay,
Right. Or like the band one
yeah,
with the kids or whatever. That was. I was like.
that was
I was
rough.
like, what? I was like, that's not really like. It doesn't feel like Star Wars. It feels like that Rick and Morty episode where they have to show me what you got.
Right.
Like, oh man.
Um, but yeah, like I like anime. I like
Oh
Star
yeah.
Wars. I like. I don't remember off the top of my head all the studios that are making shorts for this season, but like the ones that I remember, I like those studios a lot. Um, so yeah, at least like a good portion of season 2, I'll probably like quite a bit. And then if as long as like the portion that I like outweighs the portion that I don't like very much, like it's probably gonna be pretty good.
hmm
There's just so much potential with the concept of Star Wars anime that like, yeah, I want an infinite number of these, even if half of them aren't very good. The half that are fantastic, you know, they're gonna be they're gonna be good. So yeah, you're number nine.
All right, so my number nine, I've got Shazam 2.
Okay.
So this one, it hurts because, like, as much as I am excited for this, because of what's happening with DC, it's kind of just like,
Yeah, I actually
you
don't have
know,
any DC stuff on my list.
yeah.
Just as wasn't confident in it. Just,
Well, that's the
you
thing.
know.
It's like I don't even know if it's even like it's just kind of like and I feel bad because again, this was a movie I was very excited for, and it's
Hmm.
kind of just like now it's like, well, granted, I don't want to say it because like I've been calling for like redoing the DC universe for like what 5 years now, not no longer. So like
Yeah.
I'm not mad. It's more of just, oh well, I guess the things like we are losing some things that are good, so it's just kind of bittersweet, I guess, a little bit. But
Hmm.
some parts I'm like, yeah, you can burn that. But but Shazam was one of those things I actually did enjoy, and the first one was really good. I think it didn't get its true flowers, so to speak, because of just when it came out and like that. But I think it was a really good movie, and I think this one would have been pretty good too. I'm not sure how they would have. I'm not sure how they're going to balance all the like extra characters now because it kind of I know like the Shazam is it Shazam family or Shazam twins or something like that. I forgot what
Shazam,
the
I guess family, yeah, because
yeah,
yeah.
like how that balances. But like I don't see it balancing super well just because one, you don't even remember half the characters' names.
Hmm.
And two, it's like they weren't really prominent in the first one really, except for the one
The very
brother who
end.
was like disabled. So it's like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it just I'll have to see how they do it.
Well, so I have a feeling this movie is of the movies coming out next year. This movie is the most likely one to continue into James Gunn's DC universe because I think people generally really like Zachary Levi Shazam.
Yeah.
Uh, two, the first movie it kind of more or less existed like in its own pocket world anyway. Like they had references to other DC stuff, but like the Batman action figures in that one store, they weren't Ben Affleck. They were just just
Batman.
random Batman. Like
Yeah.
um, it kind of felt like they lived in a world that was way further in on the timeline than they were like in the creator DC universe. It just felt like if there's one that could just kind of stand on its own, that would be it. So yeah, I think this movie of the ones next year, yeah, this year, I guess.
Right? So weird
um,
saying that.
yeah, I think of the ones that will matter, if even, like if it even will like matter, uh, like the things in this movie are the most likely ones to like carry into the future DC stuff. That being said, the movie itself, I haven't seen there's like been no trailers, no real like new posters or anything since Comic Con. Like it's been a while since we got any new information on the movie, and that's a little concerning. Considering it comes out in 2 months, but hopefully around the Super Bowl time and after they'll ramp up advertising for it. But it's in a kind of weird place right now that like I'm excited, but I haven't really seen a lot. So.
Yeah. I mean, which is kind of good because I feel like, yeah, going into a movie, a lot of it you just want to be excited about, like, anticipation than just, oh, I'm excited for this shot from the trailer, this shot from the trailer, and
Hmm.
this shot from the trailer. It's kind of like, we don't really know what's going on, so let's go.
Yeah, yeah. I think it has potential to be a lot of fun. It is going to be. We'll see how they balance the other Shazam family members in there. Um, but and apparently the villain is a completely made up villain for the movie, which is interesting. Like I don't know any Shazam villains outside of Black Adam, so like I wouldn't be able to tell regardless. But like if they can think of a good story, Go for it.
Yeah, sure, why not? Like, especially you when you do that, when you take a character that either is completely by your own design or is so obscure no one really knows anything about the character, you kind of
Mm,
have the freedom to, as long as it's good, it doesn't matter what they do.
right.
So yeah, just kind of use that freedom. Why not?
Hmm.
Especially if this is the end of this, series. It's like, what are you gonna, you can't really mess it up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Um, but yeah, definitely of the DC movies coming out next this year, within the next year. That's probably the one I'm most excited for. My number 8 is probably the only one in this list that I'm not 100% certain is coming out this year, but I Googled it and said it will really start this year, hopefully. Ahsoka.
yeah,
Um, it's planned to be sometime in winter of 2023. So whether that's like the Boba Fett thing where it was like late December, still counts as this year.
yeah, it still counts.
I
Man,
mean, you know, Dave Filoni technically set in the Mandalorian, style, with all that. Like I like Rosario Dawson in as Ahsoka in Mando season 2, and also that one weird bit in Boba Fett. Um, I just, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
yeah. I mean, Ahsoka's probably for at least top five favorite Star Wars character for sure. So it's
Mm.
like, yeah, I'm down for this. Dave Filoni made the character. No, so it's like I'm 100% confident he knows exactly what to do
Hmm.
with the Star. I will say I do need to brush up on my Star Wars Rebels before this comes out, just because I feel like there's going to be a lot of that's going on. Because
Yeah,
I got all the Clone Wars stuff down, but I gotta I gotta do
yeah.
the reading, so to speak.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, Ezra is definitely coming in there
mm-hmm.
somewhere. Thrawn is going to be the main villain.
Thrawn,
Satine, is that her name? No. There's, there's going to be other other Rebels characters that are going to be popping
yeah,
up. So like, it would definitely be helpful to know who they are.
yeah. So probably go back through that at least the later seasons again.
Hmm. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you're number 8.
Okay, so my other eight is my other DC thing that's on here, Harley Quinn season 4.
Oh yeah,
So
right.
yeah, yeah. See, and
um,
that's kind of the I was thinking too, because I was like, I like this, but also like it's kind of like when it's kind of like when there's it's like it's a holiday
mm.
and everything's closed, and then you're like, hey, are you guys open? Like, because it's kind of like everything else with DC's on fire, and you're kind of like, hey, is this still happening? Yeah, we're still going. Okay, cool.
Cool.
Like
Yeah.
everything I have looked online has said that Harley Quinn season 4 is still happening.
Yes.
So I'm like, I know DC's literally like burning everything,
Hmm.
but apparently this was not one of those things, which is good because this is
Yes.
very good. And although the way season 3 kind of ended was kind of
It seemed pretty
odd,
final. Like it seemed pretty like if the show ended here, it'd be fine.
yeah, and I think that
But
was by design. It's weird because like it felt ending, but also didn't tie up a lot of things. So it kind of had that
right.
like loose ending, kind of, because like it feels very. One, I'm like Harley being a hero kind of makes sense, but also kind of doesn't. But also, it kind of feels like she kind of just like dropped a lot of other things,
Uh-huh.
like especially with like the whole her and Ivy thing, and like kind of like I don't it felt kind of out of nowhere, but at the same time kind of felt right because she's kind of been building towards it the whole time. But
Right.
I don't know, we'll see. That's why I'm interested to see how this next season goes with it, because I'm kind of like, this is odd, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But it's hilarious
Oh
regardless.
yeah, it's still going to be very funny. I'm sure Harley is still going to be killing a lot of people just
Oh, for
because it's
sure.
just how she is. Barbara might not approve, but it's just going to happen. I don't know if season 4 is happening this year. I do know there's going to be some kind of Valentine's Day special in February, so at least we'll get some kind of Harley Quinn
Okay.
content this year. It's also interesting that like a couple weeks after the whole announcement that HBO Max might not exist
Break.
after next summer, like Harley Quinn season 4 was announced to be renewed at HBO Max. So like, but will you still exist when the show is
Right?
out? Will it just be rolled into whatever comes next? Will they just decide to keep HBO? At this point, I've actually dropped HBO because
Really?
yeah, at this point, like my the final straw was uh I'll pick it back up once like stuff
Hmm.
like kind of builds up. Like if Harley Quinn season 4 does come out this year, but they're dropping uh the Justice League cartoon, Batman Red and the Bold, and like a couple other DC stuff at the end of this month. So like
This month?
yeah, but in
I
February
was
it's gonna be
so big.
gone.
I gotta
Yeah,
watch
and
all the
like I
shows. We
can't
gotta
start
be
it now. Like that was gonna be the show me and my roommate watched after Spectacular Spider-Man, and now I
right.
can't do that because like if I start, I won't be able to finish. Um, and
I
then
like
two, they apparently just erased half of the Looney Tunes stuff that is on there. Like
the
I don't,
disrespect.
I don't know if it was some kind of weird licensing thing or if they just,
With who?
I don't know. They own it. It is
That's kind
them.
of my question. It's like, why are you taking it off? Where is it going? Like, I feel like if it's not going anywhere, they wouldn't just they take it off, would they?
I don't. I have no idea what they're doing. I really don't. I just yeah, like the movies that are on there, like I could find somewhere else. So like once Harley Quinn does like officially come back, well, or whatever, I don't know. Especially since they are potentially it's potentially not even going to exist in the next within the next year. It's interesting, but I am regardless of that, I'm glad that Harley Quinn is still going to continue. So
Mm.
yes. Um, so yeah, my number seven is Dune 2.
Yeah, me too.
You see? Nice.
Yes. Okay. Go here.
Mhm.
You start. Go.
Oh, I mean, the first one, every now and then I watch a movie and I'm like, that was a great movie. I remember nothing about it. I didn't understand a single second, but it was a great movie.
Right.
Like if I watched it again, I probably would. It would be like watching it for the first time because
Yeah.
it all just washed right over me. I was like, this is great. What was the end? Like, oh wow, a lot happened. Okay,
Oh, there's Zendaya. Like,
yeah, at the
it's
very end,
right.
and like like 30% of my anticipation for Dune 2 is anticipating rewatching the first Dune just so I can like understand it
Yeah.
and then go into Dune 2.
Honestly, no. No,
Mm,
like this first movie screams potential because they set up everything and nothing happens. So it's
mm,
kind of like this. It's almost like they spent this first movie just setting up dominoes, and in the second movie they're just all gonna fall, and it's gonna be
mm,
glorious. And like that's kind of what I'm. That's why I'm so like excited for this because based on just potential and hype alone, I'm like, this could be really, really, really. Because again, they still have an excellent cat. I know they killed Oscar Isaac's character, but I mean, they still have excellent cast. They
mm,
have, this is a big project. They got budget. They've got story right. Like it had great exposition. Like a lot of information just thrown at you. Yes,
mm,
but it's one of those things. Like you said, when you rewatch it, and then you're like, oh man, I can't wait for the sequel. Oh wait, the sequel comes out. Like and then I think it's gonna. I don't know if it's gonna be. I know they were saying it's the next sci-fi epic. I don't know about that, but I mean, it could be based on what
could
it.
be.
It kind of reminds me of the first Harry Potter movie. It's like
Mm,
this movie shows you a lot of things. It didn't utilize everything, but
mm.
you know that they can, and then later they do. So it's like, okay, I like what I see from this first movie. Very promising.
Oh yeah, and I know the first one did well, but because pandemic was still happening, it released on HBO Max at the same time, which is how I watched it. Like it didn't do as well at the box office as it probably could have, but because it's fully releasing in theaters now, people have had time to watch the first one. Like I think this movie is primed to just be really well received, do well at the box office, and just make everyone who is excited for it happy, make new fans excited. It's just I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So those are your seven as well. So my number six is John Wick Chapter 4.
Ooh,
The John Wick movies are just amazing.
John Wick.
They're just a lot of fun. Just watching Keanu Reeves just just watching him doing anything is fun, but watching him just go into a room and systematically just take down 100 people. It's just glorious to watch.
It's just it's like he does it every time, and every time I'm just more amazed. It's
Mm.
like
Have you seen them all, or just like how
I've
much of these have you
seen
seen?
two and a half of them, is how I put it. I've
Okay,
seen the first two, and I fell asleep watching the third one. Not
okay.
because it was bad, because I tried to watch them all in a row.
Okay,
But
yeah, yeah. The third one is not. I wouldn't say it's bad, but it definitely kind of there's something missing in the third one that was definitely there in the first and most of the second one. But it still is good.
yeah,
Um, it just I don't know, there's a little bit about it that just kind of feels there's something that's just that movie felt like it was like losing steam just a little bit, but hopefully the fourth one. I know they shot four and five back to back. I think that's gonna finally like finish the story because if you remember, this has all happened over like a couple of days,
right.
like a week
That's what I
max.
was thinking. Like, it's only been like a week. Like his
Yeah.
neighbor's like, dang.
So like in a way, it's kind of fitting for by the third movie for John Wick himself just be like, I'm so over this. um, so yeah, the fourth one, him and Lawrence Fishburne are gonna be teaming up again. The first time since Matrix. That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah,
Because all the advertising of the second and third one had Lawrence Fishburne in it, but like maybe it was just the third one. Whichever movie he was first in, he was in all of the trailers. It's like,
mhm.
oh, Lawrence Fishburne and him they had like 2 minutes screen time, and then they
Right.
just went off and did their own thing. But now it's like they're a team.
They're in it, in it.
Yeah. Um, and yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be more John Wick, which I cannot complain about.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
good. It's like it's good, and they keep doing what keeps working. So
Mhm.
just roll because again, and I think John Wick's one of those things where the story's not super important. So
Right.
as long as it kind of makes sense, the rest of the movie will be fine.
Mm. It is coming out during a period where a lot of other stuff is happening. I think it's like mid-March. So you got
Ooh,
Shazam, you got, Ant-Man just came out. You got the Mario movie in a couple weeks
Mario.
after. Dungeons and Dragons also. Just like
Yeah.
a lot's happening in that month or so. But I'm watching John Wick 4.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I unfortunately I'm probably not going to watch it in theaters just
Mm,
because it's going to be a busy theater time. But
right.
if it's on streaming, I'll be there.
Hmm. I think the first three are currently on Netflix. Either Netflix or HBO, one of those. So
I
if
feel
you
like
wanted
it's
to.
HBO, but I'm not sure.
Okay. If you wanted a refresher, you definitely could
Yeah,
could do it.
definitely.
So you're number six.
All right, so my number six is Ahsoka because
Mm,
I'm excited because again she's looked really good and I was very skeptical about live action. Anytime there's an alien character or
mm,
like a very character is going to need a lot of effects as a main character, you're like, oh, this makes me nervous. But I really liked what they did with Rosario Dawson. I thought it was very like, although it doesn't really look that much like the Rebels version because they have the really long tender, but it's like it looks like every other version, so that's perfectly fine with me
yeah.
because I mean I prefer the Clone Wars version anyway. So it's like
Mm,
it looks ideal and like I don't know. I'm excited to see where she goes. She looked really good. Her Mandalorian episode was very appealing. Like I thought it was
mm,
great. It was great with the action, great with just I'm excited because they've the same people who have done a lot of very good Star Wars are going to continue doing very great Star Wars and probably even more because they're the Mandalorian is an original character and they did a great job with it. So it's like Ahsoka by extension is also an original character of Dave Filoni. So I feel like
mm,
there's no confusion on how this is gonna work. He knows exactly what he's gonna do. He's probably planned. Oh, probably didn't plan this far out in the beginning, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he knows what he's doing. He knows his character, and also that her theme music, getting the like orchestra version is so
Mm,
dope. Like, it's, I'm so excited.
hmm And plus, there's at least rumors that there's going to be some kind of flashback episode to her being younger during the Clone Wars, so which is gonna be
Like,
fun.
can you imagine getting a Hayden flashback, bro?
Yeah, why not?
I would lose my mind. That'd be so good.
I mean, he those happened in Obi-Wan,
I
so
know,
why not? Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Do it, please.
I know
Don't like.
Hayden's always down to play more Anakin, so
That's what I'm saying.
yeah. Um, yeah, it's. I've always had the opinion that I felt like Anakin from the Clone Wars just felt like a different character than Anakin from
Oh, absolutely.
the movies. Though it's gonna be interesting if Dave Filoni like directs it where, because he's totally gonna be directing those episodes where those flashbacks happen.
Oh yeah.
Um, or if he directs Hayden Christensen to play the Anakin from the Clone Wars, who was
Yeah.
just like kind of different than his
I think
actual
he
Anakin.
is because one, I think that's how one, I think Ahsoka's personality is very much based on that version of Anakin.
Mm,
So I don't think she becomes her without him being that way. And also, I hate to say this because I know people get mad, but like for me, that's really what Anakin's like because
yeah.
I the original prequels version just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't
Mm,
make sense. It doesn't feel real. The
right.
Clone Wars one feels way more
Right. Like like
just
from the text of the third movie, his fall to the dark side is just like an accident. It just kind of happens.
right,
Whereas
like
you see him, delve
right.
into it during the Clone Wars.
And like
Great.
you're kind of agree with him while it's going. You're like, nah, the Jedi did betray you, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
and like
go get
him
what's yours.
talking to Tarkin,
Oh
maybe
man,
we could, maybe we should,
the
do
Imperial
things
March
like
is just creeping in the background, just like, oh, don't do it.
yeah.
The foreshadowing is too strong. Like every time he did any, like it was just so funny because like it got to the point where like he like anytime he like doesn't wash his hands, dun dun dun, like, it's just like
Uh,
no, but it was no, it's really good how they do, and I think that character is much more fitting because it really feels like more of a tragedy. Because in the original prequel, it kind of feels like he's just kind of this odd guy who
mm,
makes really, really big decisions based on no logic at all. Which like does explain a radical turn, but doesn't explain sticking with that decision.
yep.
Because like I feel like if you had done that, you would have like after like 10 minutes, you would have been like, yeah, this ain't it. This was a
No,
poor choice.
no.
And then he just doubles down. It's like, no, I'm just totally evil now. And it's
Like
like,
I'm not going from feeling bad about cutting off Mace Windu's hand to killing younglings within 5 minutes. No,
that's what I'm
that's
saying. I'm
weird.
like, that's like it was the same night. It was like an hour later. He's like, all right, let's get those kids. I was like, what? Like, there's like I don't care how like emotionally charged you are. Even if your wife is dying, there is nothing that could just make you murder a room
Hmm.
of children that you know, by the way. Like, they're
Yep.
not just somebody else's kid. Like, you've
Uh,
seen these kids a while.
yep.
It's like work.
Especially after you think your wife is dead. Why do you stick around? I don't know.
Right?
That's always confused me.
My thing is, why don't you just go be with your wife if you're worried about her?
I don't, I don't
Like, I know, like he's doing all these errands across the galaxy. I gotta say, Padme. I'm like, bro, how do you know you not being there is what kills Padme? Like,
know. I don't.
at
Yeah.
least take her with you or something. That makes no sense. You didn't even see her.
Mhm.
But
Yeah. It's.
yeah, but all that to say, I hope that yeah, the Anakin we get in Clone Wars is kind of or Clone Wars is kind of more the Anakin that's at least alluded to because I feel like for Ahsoka's character to kind of make sense, it has to be because I don't
Mhm.
it doesn't, because she kind of adopts versions of his personality early on, and eventually kind of mellows out more. But still, like you can still kind of see that influence on her. So we'll have to see where it goes.
Mhm.
But
But but regardless, even the like modern day Ahsoka stuff is
oh, it's gonna be
gonna be
great!
good.
I'm so excited.
Oh yeah. So top five.
High five!
My number five is Loki season two.
Ooh, good one.
I mean, the first season is like right below WandaVision as far as like ranking of Marvel shows. Like it is very, very well written. The acting is some of the best Marvel I think has ever done. Just the world building of the TVA, just the way it ended was just so captivating. It's like like I the fact that it's taken them this long to like I think this might sound weird, but I feel like Loki season one may have actually like come in a little too early because as far as like directly being impacted by what happened in Loki, we're not seeing any of that until Ant-Man 3.
Right?
Because like the multiverse could just happen. Like it doesn't have to be Loki caused that. That's even arguable whether or not Loki even caused the multiverse to happen in the first place. But
I don't
also
think so.
it happened in a place that's like beyond time, so it has and also hasn't and will always happen. So like so like the multiverse is always, but also it's you know what I'm
I
getting at.
got, I
Like
got, I got.
it could have came out last summer.
You
The
can't be late if you've already happened.
yes. So and so having over a year and a half before Kang shows up again in any capacity,
Yeah,
even Multiverse of Madness didn't touch on that at all. Like variants were kind of referenced, but like
not really.
just only other Doctor Strange. It was yeah.
Like, yeah, it felt like it's kind of felt like the like events that should go together aren't organized together because WandaVision and Doctor Strange should have gone together. Loki and Ant Man should kind of go together, and like you know things that aren't connected to either of those things should go together. So it kind of feels very
Mm,
disjoint. Because like honestly, you could have put Moon Knight where Loki came out because Moon Knight's not really connected to anything.
yeah.
And it's kind of just like it still happens. Falcon and Winter Soldier kind of it's wherever. It doesn't really affect anything, which was kind
Mm,
of surprising because I thought that would come up a little bit, somewhat, but not really. Black
at some
Panther
point,
hasn't
yeah.
really affected anything. It's kind of like it's like you have these things that are connected, but in between there's so many breaks of just, oh, this is just happening. She-Hulk, oh, this is just happening.
Yeah.
It's like,
And
I mean,
like
not that that's bad, but it's like, okay, but why is that happening here?
no, and that's not bad. That's how comics are. But when you want people to like be invested in an entire universe, the
Right.
fact that last year was just a lot of things that just kind of happened, like none of them were individually really that bad. Arguably Thor: Love and Thunder, but I like that movie. Like it just felt a little like I want to see what happened after Loki. I want to see what like the ramifications of there being a new Captain America. But it's kind of we're not going to see a new we're not going to see what happened with Captain America until 2024. Loki season two is happening 2 years after the first one. It's just there's this. I think that could have been planned a little better, but regardless, season two is going to act on that, and it's going to be very good. So
Yes.
yeah, yeah, we haven't really gotten much new information about it outside of that is happening and a couple of screenshots, but I'm sure it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay. My number five,
mm,
I got Mando season three, just
that's my
because.
number four.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
Okay, see, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, this is going good. I know it's weird because it's felt like, despite the last half of Boba Fett basically being Mando season 3 2.5, it's like it's been a long time since we've seen the Mandalorian stuff when you think about it,
yeah,
and you're kind of like, okay, so like, where are we at? Because like, are we back to doing things as normal? Are we doing things with Mandalore now because of the whole dark saber thing? Like, where are we at exactly? Like, we don't really know, and it's
Hmm.
kind of like
I
there's
mean,
not a lot to tell. Like, we haven't really heard anything. It's
yeah,
kind of
like
just yeah,
he
this is
got
happening.
Grogu back, and he has a new ship,
Yep.
and he has the dark saber, and he has been extradited from his little like Mandalorian clan.
Yeah, but I mean that was kind of already happened.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the whole like Mandalore war will happen this season, but or at least like some kind of build up to that will happen this season between like him and oh no, what is her name? The
Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan. Yeah,
Hmm.
I think factions will form. I think ideologies will clash. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Mhm.
And who knows? Maybe they'll get to war, and Luke Skywalker's like, "Hey guys, everyone, that's
I
not
don't think I
funny."
want him to show up
Like,
again. I think he's done.
yeah, no, I don't know.
Maybe show up in Ahsoka just because he's the only other Jedi at the time that we know of. But
but
like,
wouldn't you think it's cool if she has a flashback telling Luke a story about Anakin? Like, that would be
oh,
so
that
cool.
needs to happen. That
That's
will
what I'm
happen.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Because, like, in A New Hope, it's kind of just like, oh, tell me about my father. Oh, he was dope. Okay. Like, that's
Yeah.
it. All the things you could have said. Yeah, bro was a baller. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
like, which is true, but, like, but
Yeah.
yeah, man, I'm excited just because Mandalorian is one of those things that has consistently been very solid, and
Hmm.
while there's been a lot going on in the Mandoverse, which feels weird saying because it's all Star Wars, but
But
you know,
mm,
it's just kind of like, okay, but what's Mando up to? Kind of my
yeah.
thing. It's kind of like he's kind of just been around. So now I'm interested to see where he goes with it.
Oh yeah. I am very very excited for this show. However, I kind of fear that. Have you seen Andor yet,
No.
dude? Come on.
I know I'm the worst.
At the same time, what I'm about to say is, what, after watching Andor, I'm kind of afraid that Mandor might feel bad by comparison.
It's that good?
it so
Really?
so they both serve very different niches in Star Wars and even like fandom culture in general. Like Mandalorian is very much the show that you just want to see a bunch of action figures hit each other, which like is fine. That is, you just want to open your chest, be like, yeah, we'll have this Imperial guy with a cool lightsaber fighting this guy in a suit of armor, and Luke Skywalker shows up to save the day. Like that, sure, why not that happen? But then you have Andor over here, which is a like very grounded, gritty, what's the word? Prestige level television with with writing that has never been seen in Star Wars, acting that like feels like nothing that's ever been done in Star Wars. Like the stories they tell are just stuff that I've always kind of wanted but never thought Disney would allow to happen, but here they are. It's just it's set, in within like we're deep in the empire at this point and like seeing people rise up and fight back in various different ways and just seeing how it affects Andor, how it affects the the world he interacts with is just very, very good. Like there's two episodes in particular which I think are like some of the best stuff that Star Wars has ever produced. And I really, really like Mando stuff, but I think the fact that I like the stuff in Andor as much as I do, in spite of it not having any fan service, as far as I know, outside of kind of Saw Gerrera, but like who like really likes Saw Gerrera. Like outside of just like a couple of like characters that have names here and there, like Mon Mothma's in it, but like in a very prominent role that like fits where she would be in this world. She's not just like a last second cameo like Luke or Ahsoka was really. It's just like anything that's fan service is integrated into the story in a very meaningful way. but even then, there's not much fan service at all. So the fact that I like it as much as I do makes me kind of fear that Mandalorian it might not scratch the same itch it used to, but I'm still excited for it.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Okay.
you should still
Maybe
watch Andor. You should
I
definitely
was gonna
watch
say
Andor. It's very good.
maybe I should watch this Andor show. I'm always late to the shows, and then when I finally get on, I'm like, oh my gosh! Everyone's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, sorry.
hmm Um,
Oh
but yeah,
gosh.
you're number 4.
Four. Okay, top four. Oh man, top four. Okay, so my number four, I've got Invincible season
That's
two.
my 3. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
figured this
yeah,
out would
this
go.
we've been waiting on this for years. Like it's time. I need it. This
Ah,
show's awesome. It is the animation's really good, even when it's like kind of choppy in some places. When it's really trying, it's really good. The voice acting is elite
hmm
in this show. Like you can feel everyone sounds real, and like the thing I really like about this show is that aside from one character, everyone sounds exactly like makes sense. Everyone's like, no one in this show is like, that's not how you would react to that. Everyone seems very, yeah, I'd react that way if that happened to me too.
Which character are you referring
It's Amber.
to?
It's Amber.
Yeah, okay, okay, fair enough.
It's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
you know where I was.
Right.
I don't like to actively hate, but I still don't get it. But
Yeah,
it's whatever. But everyone else feels very believable, whether they are a superhero or talking to a superpowered person. Like
mm,
everyone seems exactly how you expect them to talk.
right. Like one of my favorite interactions is uh I don't know, what's Invincible's real name? Um
Mark.
Mark, yeah. Like Mark uh goes up to Eve and is like, You're Adam Eve, right? And she's like, "Oh, you're invincible." Like, yo, I didn't expect anyone to actually recognize me. And he's like, but you don't wear a mask.
Right?
It's like we were in the field together. How do you expect me not to know who you are?
Yeah.
She's
But
like, well, most people aren't looking for heroes everywhere. So yeah, they just, you know,
like I if it wasn't the 21st century, I'd believe that. But like we live in the day and age where like everyone has a phone in their pocket. Like a picture of you is going to be online. Like people would just like post a photo. Do you know this girl? And
mm,
then within 2 hours,
right. It's
she'd be found.
no longer just
There's
like blurry newspaper prints or
that's kind of
whatever.
what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
that's not yeah. Like that might have made sense in the 60s, but there's no way that like
right.
now that would not happen
Uh,
unless you had some kind of like something covering your face or some kind of like power or something.
mm,
There's no way. But
but um, but what was I saying? But yeah, I think the fact that it has taken 2 years, right? Yeah,
mhm.
over 2 years for them to, finally get around to releasing season 2 shows me that they are taking their time to make the show as good as possible. Um, because the first season clearly had some budget issues. Like when the budget hit, it hit hard, but
Yes.
there were times when like things didn't look quite animated right. The background was like that weird CG that they just that didn't look great. Sometimes when Mark is flying, he just kind of like is a sticker that's kind of moving up and down. But
Yeah. And like background characters don't have faces sometimes and they're kind of just blurbs and it's like I, I'll let it slide because we're not focused on that right now, but
right,
whatever.
but pretty much anytime Omni Man is on screen, like yes.
That is one thing I'm worried about. I'm like, so is there going to be no J.K. Simmons, or at least
he,
very minimal J.K.
the
Simmons,
second
which
half
makes
of
me
the
sad?
season, he's definitely going to show up in some capacity. We'll
I
either
know,
see
like,
where he is, or he'll show back up on Earth to warn Mark about something or fight him. I don't think he's necessarily going to be like as antagonistic after what happened at the end of the last season, but there definitely are going to be other Viltrumites who will
oh
be.
yeah, oh yeah.
I've seen some comic panels, and I'm very excited for some people that might show up this season. Also, Battle Beast. More of him, please.
Peace is so, Battle Piece
I
is
love him so
just
much.
so, it was just funny how they did it. I mean, he's just there, and it's just like, yeah, no, you're all getting folded. Absolutely no chance. Like, it's just because it like it very much seemed like it was just random garden variety bad guys, and then
Mhm.
like you notice, oh man, one of these guys is pretty good. Oh my god, is that his face on the ground?
Mm.
That man is dead. Like, oh man, yeah,
Ah.
the beatings in this show were unreal. Like, I hate to say it, but I like that the main character gets absolutely destroyed
Mhm.
constantly
Mhm.
because A, it makes him a more realistic character because he doesn't know how to fight yet, and B, it just makes him more like it makes it feel more grounded. It doesn't feel like this like because he does have like he's basically a Superman allegory, but it's like at the same time it's like yeah, we don't
Right.
care. Like, we don't care. Like, yeah, we don't need kryptonite to fold you, bro. You will just get folded. So it's like, and I think that's really cool because it's very like, there's more like this is a world where everybody has hands, so you have to be on it. And I think that just makes it just exciting in general.
Oh yeah. Um, but yeah, I think they said we're gonna get new information on season two sometime in January. So soon, and then probably this summer, the season will start. So yeah,
So
I'm
excited.
very excited.
So excited.
Yeah, that's my number three. What is your number
Okay.
three?
Okay. My number three is actually Zelda. So
My number two.
yeah, like, I was like, so I don't. What have we not said? Like, it's the sequel to the best open world game ever made. So no pressure.
Right, like both. I have a slight fear both for my number two and kind of number one. Are these is this game also I'll say is this game too big to fail, or is the first game have such this veneer to it that the second can't possibly live up to it?
I mean, I kind of feel like the latter. Like, I feel like the first game is not perfect, but it's pretty close. I mean,
Right.
it's like, it has everything you would ever want in a game. And I feel like the second one, the only, like, anytime you make a sequel, you have to add something, change something, or just expand on what you have, or a
Mm,
mixture of all three. And it's like, I feel like they're going to try to add things that may not be needed because I feel like you don't really need to add it. I feel like if you just made the map bigger
hmm
and changed a few concepts, that's fine. But I don't think
Yeah.
you need to, like, oh, we're having a new map now. I'm like, I feel like Hyrule's fine. Like, as is. Like, I think it would almost be. I don't want to say keep it exactly the same because that would be kind of like lazy, but like pretty similar.
And it is definitely Nintendo's MO to just try to like add some weird gimmick or change things that like
Yeah,
some things are good, but some things are just like I liked it better the old way, or this is annoying.
yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Like I haven't seen anything that's necessarily going to be
What
bad.
is?
I liked the basically like the floating,
Yeah,
uh,
like the portal thing.
yeah, the way to like go like
Yeah,
from the
like
surface up.
intangibility
Yeah,
portal kind of.
being able to like
I'm
control
just gonna call it the Rick and Morty portal.
right, being able
Honestly,
to control time to like send stuff back at enemies looks like fun.
that does seem awesome.
Um, yeah, like the only two complaints I have about this game was like the only thing I would want them to change is A, have some way to either reforge or sharpen or craft weapons so they
Yeah,
don't break as fast, or just have some way to keep them from
yeah.
breaking as fast, and be able to climb in the rain. Just have some way
Right.
to climb better in the rain. Fix those two things. Be good.
It's one of those things that like especially climbing in the rain, it's one of those things you like forget about until it happens
Mm,
and you're like, oh my god, like before you get Rivali's Gale, if it's raining, there's nothing you can do.
nope.
You're just too bad. Like, sorry.
Yep.
Like, it's just
Hmm.
like, and it's like until I replayed on Master Mode, it was kind of just like Oh, I forgot how terrible this is. So I'm like, I'm going there first because I'm not doing this like
Uh,
climb 3 step.
right.
Like, I'm not. I can't. It's so frustrating.
Mhm. Like
But
I'm
it
definitely not one of these people that's like the first game is good, but because it didn't have the standard Zelda dungeons in it, it's not perfect. But like
the shrines
clearly
are
that game
awesome.
shows that Zelda has evolved past the 8 dungeons that you have to like collect this item that helps you traverse that one dungeon that you never use it ever again, and then you fight the final boss. Like that, clearly it's evolved past that. Plus, there kind of are dungeons with the Titans, and then you have the individual shrines, which like they're not that elaborate, but I still feel like they give that summer
Some are
challenge.
definitely more challenging than others.
Yeah,
Like there are some shrines that if I didn't look it up, I never would have got it, and some that I'm like, that was
right.
easy.
So I don't think they need dungeons in the next game in order for it to be the perfect Zelda game. Like it's already basically perfect. Just do more of what you already did. So
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah. Again, I'm a little afraid that they're gonna try something too wacky or try to do something and it's just not gonna live up to the first game. But as long as it's pretty close, it's gonna be one of the best games this year. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. Um, so yeah, what is your number two?
Okay, so this is Mega Man Battle Network Legacy. Like,
Right.
dude, I have wanted this for like 10 years,
Hmm.
legitimately.
Hmm.
So I am stupid happy about it. Like, it's just I just want the games, run it back. They got all the games, updated graphics, they got program setting. You can battle online. Like, it's everything you could have done with the link cable back in the day. The original little. Do I have my? It's over there. A little link cable with the Game Boys. You can do it now online on the Switch,
Uh-huh.
dude. I am so ready. Like
Yep.
yeah. I can't wait to replay every single game and 100% every single one of them like I did before because this was my Pokemon back in the day.
Right.
I played these games religiously. It's a problem. It's great, and I've been looking online, and I don't know, man. Like the fandom is there. It's just
Hmm.
like they're on the but like the fandom is there. I'm like it's our time.
Yeah.
It's been long awaited. I'm super excited. I don't know. There's nothing else to say. Me and my brother are just gonna like. I mean, we're just gonna crush these games. I'm so excited.
So when you say you're gonna play every game, are you saying you're gonna play every game or just like one of the two, and your brother's gonna play the other one? And are
You
there
know?
some that you're not gonna play because others are better?
Okay, so it depends on the version because some versions the games are exactly the same, but there's one or two discrepancies, and some it's kind of like Pokemon where it's like they're the same, but you get different navies versus the
Hmm.
game. So it's like the first two games there's only one version. The third game there one version just has one thing that the other one doesn't, so it's not really. It's basically the same game.
Hmm.
And then other than that, I'll just base on which one I like better. But I'll probably play them both because I've played. When I say I've beaten them all, I mean I've beaten both versions of every game. So like it's some games are definitely worse than others. Like four is definitely the worst, but man, it's so great. Like I'll probably go one at a time in order, and then go back for the ones that I didn't do later, just because I can. But
Right.
yeah, I'm really excited. I might do. I'm thinking about doing a let's play for it, but we'll see. It's because I looked online and like some of the people I see online are not very good,
Yeah.
and I'm like not to brag, but I'm like what are you doing? That's not how you build a folder. The folder's trash. Like you need to where are your stars? Like you gotta. I don't know. Like especially being an adult and knowing everything that I learned as a kid, and now being like, yeah, no, this is how you destroy people. Like
Hmm.
I'm very excited. So, and going online, I'm sure there's going to be people who just break the game. So that's always fun too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm super excited because that comes out in dun, 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 April 14th.
Very
So
nice.
excited.
Very nice.
Yeah. Man,
Um,
I wonder what your number one is.
well, first honorable mentions. Like I said, I have a
Okay.
lot of them.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so these are in no particular order. I just kind of grouped them by. by series, and then just a couple of miscellaneous. So Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, we haven't
Hmm.
really mentioned it yet, but it's
It is
probably going to
also
be the best
happening.
Marvel movie to come out this year outside of our number one, but that doesn't count. So
Yeah, it's up to Sony, but
yeah, um, the Marvels, you know, I
oh
like Captain
yeah,
Marvel fine enough. I like the Miss Marvel. I liked let me put this. I like the Miss Marvel as a character pretty good. I want to see her interacting with Carol a lot. Um, what's her name? Photon Spectrum, whichever that girl from WandaVision. She's also going to be there. That's just sounds like a pretty fun
Rambo.
cast. Yeah, yeah, Rainbow.
That's right.
Um, Guardians of the Galaxy
Hmm.
3, also going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Uh, Secret Invasion. Um, I haven't heard a lot of buzz about this. I think it's coming out sometime this spring. Um, I mean, I've always wanted some kind of Nick Fury focused either
hmm,
movie or show, and this seems to be more or less that.
yeah.
So, yeah. Agatha Coven of Chaos, I think, is a sleeper one, but people are just like,
Is
not that
that
people
coming out
aren't.
this year?
It's scheduled for sometime
I
later this year.
forgot
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. Um, it's I love Catherine Hahn.
Yeah,
Obviously, I love WandaVision, and this is just gonna be more in that world. So good. What if season two? What if season one? Similar to Star Wars Visions, I liked a lot of the episodes. Some didn't really jibe with me, but others I really liked. So it's just kind of if it's in that same vein, that's great. Uh, Aquaman 2, first one's decent. This one's probably going to be at least decent. So, I might see it. Who knows? I'm cautiously optimistic for The Flash. It's not going to be good, I think, but
I
also
still
is
don't
going to
care
be
about
it's going to be interesting to see what it ends up actually being.
I think it's gonna be a hot mess if it comes. I still don't think it's gonna come out. I'm sorry. Like I haven't seen enough to believe it's really gonna happen. Like
That's
there's been
fair.
so much uncertainty with it. I'm just like until it's like, yeah, no, it's in theaters tomorrow. I'm
Hmm.
like,
Yeah, yeah. Let's see, Blue Beetle.
mm,
Could be fun.
yeah,
Fun.
probably.
Bad Batch season two. Actually, the first two
Dropped
episodes launched
today.
today. Yeah, I watched the
Yeah.
first one. It's more Bad Batch. Can't really. So
I'm sure
what?
some episodes are more exciting than others per
Oh,
usual, but
absolutely. Yeah. One thing that uh, rewatching it with my roommate a couple of months back, and then cementing it this episode. It is the funniest thing to me that every single episode there is one moment that uh, Wrecker, yeah, that Wrecker is like climbing a ladder or like has to like tightrope over some pit. He like looks down and is like, not again. I'm gonna regret this or something like that, and then just
mhm,
does it anyway. It's like
grudgingly, yeah.
it's like, hey, he has a fear of heights, everybody. It's not gonna be actually relevant, but we're just gonna mention every single time. Every single time he like does he makes a comment about it. It's like that that's not him having a fear. That's just him just complaining.
Same thing.
It just kind of takes me out of it when it's every single time. Whatever. Um, let's see. Oh, also Star Wars: The Acolyte. I
Oh
think
yeah.
could be really good. We don't have a lot of information about it outside of it taking place like I think 400 years before Episode One. It stars like a small Sith, either one Sith or like a small Sith clan that are trying to do stuff. It's it could be could be interesting.
Fair enough.
Um, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Uh, the Transformers movies are usually not very good. This is coming from the same people, at least most of the same people that made the Bumblebee movie, which is by far the best Transformers movie. Uh, so it has potential to at least be a lot better than the Bayformer movies. So
There you
I,
go.
there's a lot of stuff coming out in June, so I'm probably not going to see it in theaters unless it gets like rave reviews from the people who actually care about their opinion about on
Mhm.
Transformer stuff. But I'm at least cautiously optimistic for that.
Yeah, like it could be good.
Yeah, could be. Um, and the last one we haven't mentioned yet is this one probably won't happen, but there's a kind of decent chance that Nintendo will have some kind of new hardware announcement this year to come out next year.
Oh,
When the Nintendo Switch was announced, it was announced in October of 2016. It came out May of 2017. So, if one is coming out in the first half of next year, it would make sense for them to go ahead and announce it sometime late this year. So, I'm not expecting it. I don't think they necessarily need to, um, especially since I don't know what all is coming out in the latter half of this year for Nintendo stuff. Um, we know Zelda's coming out in May. We know Pikmin 4 is coming out at some point. Probably either some Pokemon DLC or Pokemon or like some like smaller game is coming out at some point this year. Outside of that, we don't know a lot for the second half, so this it could be relatively dry, and that could signify they're kind of winding down to then release something next year. But regardless, I think within a year from now, we'll hear some kind of announcement for new system. So
just when I was getting cozy with my Switch, then be like, all right, now we got the next
I mean, I don't
Nintendo.
think you'll need to get there's still plenty of games on Switch that you should play, although the next system might be backwards compatible. So they've usually been pretty good with backwards compatible systems to have some kind of trade in. At least like local stores have some kind of trade in, so you'll be fine.
Long story short.
Plus, you still need to get a PlayStation 5. So
Yeah, yeah. As my honorable mentions will note, I'm like, I
yeah,
would like these a lot more if I could actually play
right.
them. Because it's just because I got like Marvel Spider-Man too, but
Hmm.
I I'm not gonna get a P like I don't like it's not no. I just like as much as a PS5 would be cool. Like I know I wouldn't use it that much and it's not worth it right now, so it's just like maybe
Right.
later. But that game's probably gonna be great.
Hmm.
Suicide Squad, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, like all great, but like probably won't be able to get them because
Yeah.
PS5 only, because why? Um Barbie movie, well, a sleeper pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one of those things that I think I'm not going to expect much and probably be pleasantly surprised.
Hmm.
Um,
It seems to have the right kind of vibe to it, where it's definitely
yeah,
not taking itself seriously at all, and that's good.
yes, exactly how it should. Because again, it's a Barbie movie. Like there is no plot. Like
Yep.
I think that'd be great. And then Dungeons and Dragons. I think you brought that up earlier, but
Mm.
Dungeons and Dragons, another one of those just stupid fun summer movies that looks
Yeah.
interesting. So I'm all for it. And yeah, just like I don't know, just stuff in general. Just like, yeah, I'm excited because there's a lot of things on this list that didn't even make it. And like even things we talked about, like excuse
Bless
me,
you.
but like, yeah, just like excited because like it's like I don't know, this is the first time I've made a list of like in date order and like
Mm.
what's coming out. And like I'm already crossing stuff out because Bad Batch came out today. So it's like
Yeah.
this is good. Like there's a lot of good stuff coming out this year. So it's gonna be a good year. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
But the best thing that's going to come out this year is definitively Across the Spider Verse. Like,
Yeah.
like there is a small chance I'm going to like something better. But as far as like the best thing is going to be Into the Spider Verse too. It's like, oh my goodness.
Like no, I mean this is one of those like movies because again the first one is still probably one of the best things I've ever seen. Like
Hmm.
it's one of those movies you don't get tired of because you just keep watching it. There's always something you didn't notice. It's a great story every time. It's funny. The animation's insane. Like
Hmm.
it's a comic book come to life. And then this movie is going to be like, yeah, we're going to do all that but better. And it's like, oh my god, like, they did it again.
Hmm.
So like, yeah, I'm super excited. There's so much to be added. And again, like the way the first one ended, it's a great ending, but it's also plenty to build off of. And now, yeah, we're building off of all of that. So I'm just really
Hmm.
excited. Just everything we've seen so far. I mean, dude, you know how when you watch a movie, you get immersed in the universe.
Hmm.
Like when I watched that last trailer, I felt it again. I was like, I'm back. Like
Yep.
I haven't been here in years, but we're back. Like we're it. This is because I mean I like that summer and like the year like within a year after that movie came out. I think I saw that movie maybe 15 times. Like it was.
15th. Wow.
I
I
don't know
saw.
if I actually 15, but like I saw it in theaters a bunch of times.
Hmm.
I saw it on campus like 5 times. Like you were with me one of those times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we just saw it on campus. It's like it's just like it's one of those movies. You get sucked in. I got the Post Malone song was on my Spotify. Like it was like
Hmm.
for a while. It's like you just felt like you lived in that world for a while, and then like I feel like I'm really excited to go back and just kind of feel it again. You know?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Like I don't think all of the spider people are going to have the same, the same kind of intro and the same kind of like what's the word spotlight that obviously Spider Ham and Noir and all
Mm-hmm.
of them got it, but just seeing you know 800 spider people is just gonna be just a lot of fun.
It's
If you don't know who like most of them are, just seeing all these costumes, ones from video games, like the
yep.
Insomniac one, the PS1 Spider-Man, um,
Love that
like
game. No fingers, but still. Love
just
that game.
like I, I'm slightly concerned about it being a little bloated because there is going to be all of those spider people, but
Oh,
I mean, I have no doubt in my mind that the people who made the first one can make a great sequel. So yeah, it's
oh,
going to be fantastic.
I know. Oh, I'm so excited. It's just
Hmm.
like, yeah, it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna expand on the characters we already had, which they were all great. So that's really exciting. And just and Spider-Man 2099, and that's gonna be so epic. Like,
Hmm. Yep. Peter B. Parker has a daughter. So,
yes,
and apparently, May
character development.
name is Mayday, which is fun. Um, I think that character in the comics is like has some kind of reality bending power or something stupid like that. But I could be wrong about that, but I think Mayday has some kind of insane ability. But and if that comes up, sure, why not? Um, so what kind of tangent? I know there's one kind of funny Spider-Man comic where him and Wolverine switch brains. Do you think there's a chance that that could be referenced at all? It's like one of the spider people just is Wolverine.
Voiced by Hugh Jackman, just
Just
because.
because.
That would be amazing. That might be a bit of a stretch, but that would be amazing.
Mhm.
Now, yeah, that's the thing. They have like every spider person ever, which is like I feel like that's so cool because like there's a bazillion of those things, and yeah, like there's video games, there's TV shows, there's movies, there's like and like I don't know if they're gonna have every single comic version because yeah, I mean that's super obscure. But I mean, hey, I mean but I mean, hey, they can do superior Spider-Man, they can do it, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like they can do whatever. So it's
Hmm.
like anything is possible. So I don't know. I mean, there's a werewolf. Was it wolf spider or
I
whatever?
think Wolf Spider. Yeah, they have Wolf Spider.
Yeah.
They have the Fantastic Four Spider-Man with the bag over his head. Like it's.
Yes. Yes. The amazing Bagman. So awesome. Oh man.
Oh boy, that's coming out
Yeah, I
in
just there's
June. June's gonna
yeah,
be crazy as well. But if I'm
ultimate
only
summer.
seeing one movie, it's Spider-Man.
Oh, for sure. I know. I'm watching this movie at least twice, if not 3 times in theater. Probably 3 times in theaters minimum.
Mm. So, anything else you wanna bring up or talk about before we
It's
sign
gonna be
off?
a good, it's gonna be a good year,
It
man.
is.
It's gonna be a good year.
Yep.
And
Yep.
also, knock on wood, because I don't want to jinx it, but like I know it's kind of been for a while, but like, just the ability to go back to the movies, I just kind of underrated. Like I
Hmm.
just I'm so glad because I kind of remember what it was like for a while. But like, oh man, remember we were just locked in our houses for like months at a time. Yeah, I'm
Hmm.
glad that like we're mostly COVID free. I know it's not
Yes.
over because trust me, I work at the hospital. I know it's not over, but
Mm.
it's we're getting there.
Yep. We're getting there, and just yeah, this I think this summer in particular is gonna be very special when it comes
Yeah,
to
this is
movies
the
because
one. This is the
like
one.
last year was fine, but like maybe not the quality might not be there, but just the amount of movies will definitely feel like feel like the like we're the summer blockbuster is back this year for sure, and that's gonna be a good
Mhm,
feeling.
definitely.
Yep.
And they've got the movies, man.
Mhm.
It's gonna be a great time. I'm ready for it.
Oh yeah. So yeah, let us know down below what things you're excited about this year. Is there anything that you think we missed? Um, I know there's obviously you know thousands of movies, games, shows, whatever coming out any given year. But yeah, just let us know what you're excited about down below, and we'll see y'all later.
Take care, guys.